What's up, guys? This is a tutorial on how to set up your solar off-grid system start to finish from my experience and what I've learned and what I think you should do instead. We're going to start by showing you what I did and how I did it, and I'm going to try to explain why I did it that way, and then I'm going to tell you what I think you should do when you're first starting, and then I'm going to tell you what you should build towards, what it should look like eventually. I have comprehensive chapters in the description and along the little line at the bottom there that should tell you how far through the video you are, so if you want to skip ahead, that should help. Alright, so we're up here taking a look at how I actually wired my system. This is a very large system for this sort of design. We have sets of 4, which are each producing 48 volts, because these are in series. These are in series, these are in series, these are in series. I really quickly wanted to go over the difference between parallel and series, so that way you wouldn't have any confusion. This diagram here should help clear up some of the confusion. Parallel is basically where the negatives and positives are both touching each other, so that way it's all the negative goes off on one side and all the positive goes off on the other. In the case of that stays at 12 volts, and it's just a bigger battery. In case of series, it's where the negative and the positive are touching, so you still have one negative terminal and one positive terminal, and that makes it 24 volts. You can do that again where there's another battery touching the positive of the other, so you still have a negative on one side and a positive on the other, and the other ones are connected, and that would be a 36 volt battery. And then these sets are in parallel. So what that means is that this panel is hooked to this panel right here, and this panel is hooked to this panel, and this panel is hooked to this panel. But this panel and that panel are not connected. They come together at these little things. You can see that there are 4 sets coming off of it, and that is what combines this, 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 and this. This one goes into this one right here. This one goes into this one right here, and then these 2 are extension cords. That's a cool little caterpillar. These 2 extension cords come down to this one and this one. So all this panel, this panel, this panel, and this panel are all connected to each other right here, and they come out and off of the roof down to the solar controller. On the opposite side, and just in the same way, these 4 connect to these 4 and take the other side off of the roof down to the solar controller. So that's pretty much all there is to show you with the panels themselves. So now I'm on the side where my powerhouse is, my powerhouse here. Hopefully you can see the 2 wires coming off the roof that we were looking at earlier. They go into the powerhouse down that side, and it turns into a mess in here, so it's really hard to tell what's going on, but those coils there are the same cords. Those 2 cords become those coils, and then those come down here to the solar charge controller. All solar charge controllers are made differently. All of them will have a battery input and output, and a solar input and output. Something to keep in mind when you're working with this is that it should absolutely be connected to the batteries before the solar panels. If you hook up the solar panels to this thing and no batteries, it will be taking charge, like it's getting energy, and it has nowhere to send it. So it will fry your solar controller if you hook up the panels without the batteries. So you have to do batteries first, then the panels. Something that might help you out a lot when you're doing your solar controller is putting these on the outside of it so you can unhook them using the little solar clips instead of unscrewing all of this. I'll open this panel up for you so you can see what it looks like inside, but it really isn't that important. There's just a place to screw in the cord on each one of these, and then on this side here there's an Ethernet port for this cord coming out, and it shows you information on this screen right here. So concerning the batteries, if you were going to be running a 12-volt system, you should have all of your batteries run in parallel, not in series. For every step up in voltage that you're going to do, that means that you have to have more of them in series. What we have here is 1, 2, 3, 4 in series, just like with the solar panels, and then we have sets of 4 in parallel, and we've got 3 sets of 4 in parallel. I don't have that much expertise in what batteries you should choose, and I have a link in the description of of someone who can tell you what batteries to choose. Alright, concerning the, starting out, you should start with either 2 to 4 panels, because if you have one panel, it's not even going to be enough to, it's not going to generate enough power to even charge your battery to do anything. It's just not going to work for you. If you get 4 panels and that connector, it makes it super easy. Each one of them connects to one of the connectors on one side and the other connector on the other side, and that's it. Connected to your solar controller. You're good to go. This is the inverter that I would recommend you get if you're first starting out. You won't be able to run anything big on it. You might be able to get away with a fridge, and that's it. Charge your phones and your fridge. If you're using low wattage lights, it should be able to do your entire house. Anything you're going to be doing with low wattage lights, like 10 watts or less, you can do your whole house probably with it. A small fridge, lights, should be good to go on this inverter. If you want to do more than that, you need to get more batteries. It's not really about having a better inverter, because yes, you need high wattage on your inverter, but if you don't have the battery storage space, then it's not really going to matter. You don't have the power to pull anyway, so you have a lot of batteries. Alright, so back where I left off is that little dog. I had to stop making the video yesterday to go pick up this little puppy. I'm back talking about the batteries. Because of how our wiring is shaped, we can put a load on either catacorner side for 48 volts. So what we have is this one hooked up to that corner and this corner, charging the batteries with the solar panels. And then we have, coming off of that end on the DC side, connected to that end and that corner over there. And so there's a good chance that your main questions about wiring your solar panels your off-grid power system is how does this thing work. This right here is an extremely complicated little panel here that if you don't know what you're doing, you will probably fry your appliances. So it is important to address that this is the input and this is the output. Top three are output, bottom three are input. I guess if you're looking at it right to left, then the left side is your input, the right side is your output. So anyway, this right here, you're supposed to put 220 in. This charges the inverter with AC, and then it pushes DC out to charge your batteries. So 220 goes in. 220 comes out as well, but you can wire it to be 110. 110 is what your house is probably wired on if you live in America. So what you have to do is only use this one or only use this one. So you put your black one in one of these, either one, and then the white one in this, and then the green one needs to come all the way over to the ground. On this side, we have a copper wire going down to our ground rod over there, and we have our grounding system hooked up like this, where the green one from this power strip and the green one from this power strip come down and ground at the same place that the solar controller does. But not all solar controllers would have that, so if you have an inverter that has one, then that's where you should do it. So anyway, I probably don't need to tell you how to strip this. We just took the side that you would normally plug into the wall and peeled this white part off, and it revealed these 3 cords. Same thing with this one, just cut into the orange one carefully so that you don't cut these wires and then peel it off, and you've got those exposed. You unscrew those little screws right there on the inside to loosen it, and then you put the wires in, and then you tighten the screws to keep it in there. With this, I told you that I would show you the inside of it if you wanted. Leave a comment if that's something you're interested in, but in the same way where you just unscrew something and then put the wire in and then screw it back down, that's basically what you have right here, is one of those for this, one of those for this, one of those for that, one of those for that. Again, with these solar things, I'll have a link in the description of where to get a bunch of these little clips, and they'll come in handy a lot if you are going to be doing a lot of wiring on your solar stuff. For us, like, we didn't use most of them. Like, we have a ton of the clips left over, but we will probably still use them eventually for something. They're actually in my toolbox. I don't feel like going all the way over there. But this right here was the other end of the orange one in here. And you can see we just clipped it off. And this is useless now. All that's going to do is get you electrocuted. So don't go plugging something like that into the wall. But take the other side and wire it up like that, and you will have functional power. So, yup. Now, when you upgrade from 12 volts to 48 volts, you should probably just get 16 panels. Like, however many you have, get more until you have 16. This is the inverter that I would recommend. It's the inverter I have. If you're going to get a different one, I think it should be Ames. People say their brand is good. But, I mean, I'm enjoying the SunGold power inverter. It's doing good for us. Its idle wattage is way less than the one we got in the first place. Alright, so I think I've covered pretty much everything. Everything that you should need is in the description, like link-wise. They're all Amazon links. They look a little weird, like a.co something or another. They're all Amazon links, except for one. It's an eBay link. It's the longest. It's the solar controller. So, anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope that it helps. If you think I left anything out, leave a comment. Let me know. I really hope you find the batteries you need. You should do that first. Batteries first before everything else. Gotta have your batteries. Then your inverter. Then the solar panels and solar controller, because the batteries and the inverter are the most important. So, good luck. If you have any questions, ask.